I started to understand, I think, that it's a story about, so what happens is people become self-conscious, they become aware of their nakedness, and they become aware of good and evil. They also become aware of their they're destined to work. And work is something that's relatively unique to human beings. If you think about it as uh, uh, delay of gratification, conscious delay of gratification, I'll give up something now, which is a sacrifice, in order to obtain something of more value in the future. That's one of the outstanding discoveries of humankind. The emphasis on sacrifice in the Old Testament, for example, I think is a it's a historical portrayal, a quasi-historical portrayal of the emergence of the idea of sacrifice, which I believe was first acted out before it was understood psychologically or explicitly. So you imagine, you think, I do think in an evolutionary manner, and I take seriously the fact that life has been around for 3.5 billion years, and that there's been mammals for 60 million, and it's been 7 or 8 since we split from our shared ancestor with chimps. That's a very long period of time. Over that period of time, human beings realized that they could let go of something in the present and gain something in the future. And there's no way, you don't leap from the complete lack of knowledge of that fact among chimpanzees to the explicit ability to state it as a set of propositions without an insanely long developmental history in between those 2 points. And human beings learned over time that those who let go in the present, at least under some conditions, were much more likely to be popular, let's say, with their peers. Because if I'm a hunter, for example, I could share with you and store up my goods in the form of the favor that you now owed me, which is an extremely effective way of storing food, and a very strange way of storing it. We learned over time that people who were able to do that were more likely to survive. They made better mates. And after that, only long after that, were we able to derive that as a principle. Anyways, back to having our eyes opened. When we became self-conscious, we became aware of the future. Along with our awareness of the future came awareness of our own fundamental mortality and fragility, because that's associated with the discovery of the future. That also enabled us to put things off until the future. All those things happened at once. The thing about human beings that makes us so unbelievably vicious is that once I'm aware of my own fragility, deeply aware of that, I can capitalize on that, because I can understand that what will hurt me will also hurt you. And that means I can start to make an art out of pain. Animals, at their worst, they're predatory in a brutal manner. But human beings go way past that in their capacity for destruction. And it isn't only the capacity that we have because we are aware of our own fragility and so can artfully use that awareness on others. It's also that we have motivations that animals don't have too, like very complex motivations of revenge and resentment. And they're very, very, very dark motivations. And I think part of the reason it's so difficult for us to understand our own behavior in relationship to events like the Holocaust is that to really understand that, you have to look in places that are so dark that looking there is in itself virtually traumatic. And so people don't. And I understand why, but I don't think we have that luxury, unfortunately.
I would say that exactly. We don't have the luxury. And it's not that everybody needs to look deeply into those dark places, but we need to agree that it has to be done, that people who are capable of figuring out what's there have to be licensed to do it, and we have to avoid demonizing them for thinking about it and discussing it.